preserving his name. She was just like, maybe you just gonna find out on your own, because I don't want to say anything to you. And I get it. I get it. I get it. Shout outs to her. You feel me? Shout outs for maintaining her integrity. Shout outs for her. You ever look through your notes and be like, man, like I wrote that? Like, I'm looking through my notes right now because I want to come up here and talk about reasons that we may have mother wounds, right? Because the overlying factor of us having a mother wound is that our mothers were hurt. Our mothers were hurt women who had children and didn't know how to balance out those emotions and didn't have a time or a moment to actually balance out those emotions. This is why I didn't rush my mother wound healing to come to a major conclusion, because my mother, I realized as I like really reflect on her life, I see that my mother went through a lot. Like, my mother went through a lot of stuff, and today, with today being Christmas, I just want to give her a round of applause for all the things that she had been through, in her life, and how she tried to maintain, how she tried to keep her head up, how she tried to just, keep her nose above the water. Be mad, even though I was like upset with her and stuff like that, but really thinking about it, like, yeah, she did her best. She did her best, and one thing I really feel is a very major reason, and I haven't really talked about what my mother wound actually consists of, but long story short, 17, 18 years old, and I know that's an adult, I know that's considered an adult, but then again, like, what did I know? My whole life was just, you know, unconsidered. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word, but my emotions weren't considered in the choices that people made. But I later on really understand that people made choices off of what made them happy at that moment, right? Not really considering how I felt about anything or what would have made me happy, but what made them happy was that, okay, she got shelter, right? She is sheltered. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, then I could just be like, all right, thank you. You did your part and stuff like that. Because when my mother and father separated, my mother already was in another relationship with somebody else. My mother was already on her way. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, I went to my grandmother's house, and my mother was like really incognito. I didn't have anybody to talk to. Me and my father would talk here and there, but who can I talk to about my period? Who can I talk to about my irregular periods? Who can I talk to about maybe ingrown hair down there? Who can I talk to about these things, or a lump? You know what I mean? Discomfort or anything like that. Like, who can I talk to? Who can I talk to about, okay, mom, I'm constipated. Mom, I got a yeast infection. Mom, I got this. I had nobody to talk to about these things. I had to go through life for dolo. Everything that I've learned about myself, I have to go through life by myself. You feel me? And some of us are actually placed here to learn life so that they can teach the next generation the best way that they can. When I was in like elementary school, I had this Pan-African teacher, and she had a group of us come and sit down, and she would teach us things. She was the woman that taught me that I'm supposed to wipe from front to back when I have a bowel movement, front to back when you pee, front to back. She's the one that taught me that. My mother didn't teach me that. You feel me? And if it wasn't for this lady right here, if it wasn't for this lady, I would not have known that. You feel me? I would not have learned that. I would not have known, for the things that I went through, feminine wise. I had to learn all of that by myself. PCOS, I had to deal with that for dolo by myself. The hirsutism, the irregular periods, the bloating, the irritability. I had to learn all of that by myself and figure that out by myself, because whatever God wants me to do, baby, I know it's wrapped around mother moon and PCOS. I know that for sure. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, I am grateful for the curveball that I was given from my mother womb. But I really understand that my mother was going through a whole bunch of strife. You hear me? Strife that I couldn't imagine myself going through. That's why God gave me PCOS. God said, no, this one's going to end up in jail. This one is going to end up in jail. I know that. Okay? Wrap her wound up. Wrap it up. Let when she gets some common sense and learn to love herself the way that her mother was supposed to learn to love herself, then we can do some things with her. But wrap that womb up. Wrap that womb up. Okay, let her figure this shit out by herself. She'll figure it out because that's how resilient God understood me to be. But I'm sitting here just thinking, like, I know my mom went through a lot. I know I said that about 3, 4 times already. And one of the most prevalent things I know my mom went through is that she wasn't loved. She was not loved, and I get it. I totally understand it. I think I'm gonna go outside like around 4 o'clock. That's not for you. I just said it. I don't know. So it just came into my mind, but um, she wasn't loved, and as hard as that is to admit, and as hard as it hurts me and stuff like that, because I wanted me and my mother to have a great relationship, but it seemed like if you ever been in a situation where somebody loves you but you can't love them back because you don't love yourself, it's one of those things. And I understood that, and that's probably also something that I had to learn too. Like, I needed to be able to love myself as well too, so that I can, be able to get to this point that I'm at right now, which is to be able to come up here and articulate this type of energy, like this forgiving energy, this forgiving perspective of what this mother wound healing is all about, right? So before I, really went no contact on my parents, because I went no contact on my parents back in 22 and 23. I just said we're gonna cut it, because to be honest with you, I totally felt like it was just the end. Like, it's the end of this relationship. There's nothing more that you can teach me. There's nothing more that I can learn from you. And there's some kind of strife here. There's some kind of tension here that I'm not understanding. I don't understand why it's this way, but I'm not going to keep trying to fight it, because God is telling me to go a different way. God is telling me to do something different. God is telling me to go find my own path and get to know myself. So, I was able to have a conversation with my father, and it didn't click at that moment, but he told me that he didn't care for my mother. He didn't like my mother. And because of that, I didn't understand it at that moment. I was still chuckling it up with him, because guess what? I'm a daddy's girl, right? And because I was a daddy's girl, I never really looked at my mother's perspective until he told me that. So after some time of, really ignoring it, but then one day I said to my mom, I was like, why me and my father are close and me and you are not close? Like, what's that all about? And to be honest with you, the answer she gave me, I can't remember it. I don't know what she said to me. It went in this ear and it went out the other, or maybe still somewhere in here and it didn't come out yet, because I really totally don't know what she said to me at that moment. But in due time, I started to understand that he was blinding me with his love for the wrongdoing that he was portraying to my mother, the lack of love that he was portraying to my mother, the lack of care that he was portraying to my mother, the lack of intentions that he was portraying to my mother, right? Granted that they provided a roof, materialistic, but I've never seen my parents actually intertwine or laughing, or her leg on his leg, or I never seen that type of energy surrounding my really still didn't really grasp what he said to me yet. Maybe a year or two later that it really came to fruition, like, yo, he really said he did not love her, or he didn't like her. So then again, now I have to start paying attention to something else. Like, I just took my focus off of my parents' relationship and started to focus on my own relationships, and realizing, wait, hold on, I feel some type of way around men because I realize that they don't even like me themselves. So therefore, it's like, how can we get close? How can I feel comfortable? And I'm not married to these men. Imagine being married to a man that doesn't like you. Think about that. Like, imagine that. You know what I'm saying? Imagine being married to a man that doesn't like you. And I realized that my mom didn't want to say certain things to me because me and my dad was close, right? She was preserving his name. She was just like, maybe you just gonna find out on your own because I don't want to say anything to you. And I get it. I get it. I get it. Shout outs to her. You feel me? Shout outs for maintaining her integrity. Shout outs for her keeping her mouth shut until I was old enough to realize that, yeah, maybe I need to see what I need to see for myself. And when he told me that, I was just like, I'm not laughing with you no more. I'm not laughing with you no more. We're gonna cut this cord. One day it was just like, shut that connection down. You know, God was like, shut that connection down. You can't shut the connection down between you and your best friend, because he was my best friend. We talk on the phone, we hang out and go to breakfast, go to lunch, go do, we be hanging out and stuff like that. And then I noticed that he's not really smiling when he comes to meet me. You know what I mean? He never smiles. He never, you know what I mean? People are funny, Sometimes you just gotta understand them for who they are. But then I realized, like, for somebody to tell me that he loves me, it doesn't feel authentic. And that's something right there. Like, when my father would tell me he loved me, that shit felt weird as F. Like, that was just like, nah, you don't really love me, but okay, you can have that. You know what I mean? Like, you can have that, but okay, whatever. You know what I mean? It felt fake. It felt like it was coming from a fake friend. But I was like, you know what? That's my father. You feel me? Like, that's my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my homie. That's big homie right there. I go to him for advice. But I noticed our conversations only was wrapped around relationships. We weren't talking about anything else because there was nothing else for us to talk about. So that's one of the reasons why I did cut the relationship, because I was just like, we don't have nothing to talk about. We don't have nothing to talk about. And then I started thinking to myself, like, I've never seen my paternal grandmother and my mother, like, ever have a conversation. Even when I was younger, I've never seen these two ladies ever have a conversation. And I've been in relationships myself, and there's a probably possibility that they probably, they didn't like each other. They didn't care for one another. That's a red flag for me. Like, if I get with a man and his mama don't like me, that's a problem. Like, I'm not gonna deal with that. I don't care how much of in love I am with him, but if I'm in love with him and he's not protecting me from his mother, then therefore there's no reason for us to be together, because now you're not supporting me. Now you don't care for me. Now you're showing me that you don't care for me. You're not protecting me. I'm not number one. The family that we build is not important to you. Your commitment to your mother is more important than your commitment to me. Right? And my mother probably didn't have a backbone to say these type of things to her, to him and stuff like that. And my mom was probably just meek and mild, and that's one of the things that I've learned in this mother wound, is to speak up. Like, say what's on your heart, however you feel. I have it written somewhere in this book somewhere, is to speak up. Don't hold nothing back. Say what's on your heart. Don't be like a bottle waiting to burst. Here you go, right here. Right here. My mother wound has taught me to speak your mind. Okay, and I haven't written in this book in a while because all the pages is full, so therefore that's been there for a long time. But like, really, really sitting down with this mother wound healing stuff has really, and for my parents were the perfect template. My parents were the perfect template for actually healing my mother wound, like really realizing, like, there was just a lot of things that made my mother uneasy. And because she was uneasy, she couldn't be a mother. She couldn't, give that motherly love, because she wasn't being loved the way that she was supposed to be loved. And plus, she was excluded. She was one of those, I gotta go find my own path. I come around when I come around and stuff like that. And when you come around and feels uneasy, that she was that type of person. You know what I mean? And now I'm the type of person, like, I come around, show my face and keep it pushing. I don't need to stay all day. You know what I mean? I don't need to, I'm that type of person. Like, I don't care to be around people like that. Like, but I really wanted us to foster a connection. I even asked my mother, like, what was going on between you and my father? Like, even after I went no contact on her, I probably hit her up probably like a year later, like, Ma, like, help me out. Like, what were you going through? And she didn't want to speak because she might have thought that I was trying to belittle her, or maybe she was just still ashamed of the fact that she abandoned me when I was 17 years old. But I was just like, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. You know what I mean? It's all good. You did what you had to do. You had to make yourself happy. You feel me? You thought it was going to be what it was on the other side. You know what I mean? Whether it was good or bad or whatever the case may be, that's what you thought it was going to be. And sometimes God shows you different. You feel me? But I really understand that there's a plethora of reasons of why we have a mother wound. And for me personally, I feel like a lot of women are in situations with men that don't even like them. And then I could pull up scripture for you that men really be low-key hating on us and stuff like that. And I want you to take it to heart of what you feel when you're around a man, because my mother used to tell me about bowel issues, and I'm pretty sure she probably just didn't feel comfortable. Like, I've been in a situation where I felt like, oh my gosh, I can't even poop. Like, when I say poop, I mean pass gas. Like, I can't even do that because the body is so locked up because you're so uncomfortable. Because you're just so uncomfortable, you can't even do that. Like, yo, like, it's difficult. It really is difficult. Um, it really is difficult. Let me see. So in 2 Samuel 13, if you know the story, that is Tamar and Amnon, where Amnon rapes Tamar. And but the way he like baited her to come, he faked he faked sickness, and he told Tamar to make him some food and feed it to him, and then he sent everybody away that was in the room. And he sent everybody away, and he forced himself on her. And she was just like, no, don't do that. King David, he would approve of us being married. But if I am to marry you, I mean, if you are to have sex with me right now, like, how would I look to everybody, though I am not married? Because now she has to rip off her ornate robe, which is a sign of virginity. The king's daughter is a virgin, and now she has to take off that robe, put ashes on her head, and walk the streets now, and people are going to be looking at her like, what are you talking about, right? So says, let me see, but I'm gonna start at 14. But he refused to listen to her, and since he was stronger than she, he raped her. Then Amnon hated her with intense hatred. In fact, he hated her more than he loved her. Amnon said to her, get up and get out. So that's 13. That's 2 Samuel 13:15. He hated her, you know. And this was after having sex with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, he forced herself to him, and he hated her after having sex with her. And a lot of men do that. Like, a lot of men, they really just dislike you after having sex with them. And that's why, like, I vow for celibacy now, because I'm just like, listen, I don't even care what you think. I don't even care what you think. As long as you do not enter my body, I do not care what you think. It has no effect on me. I don't care if you like me, love me, want to see me hit by a car. I don't care. As long as you are not touching my body, I don't care. So I'm gonna leave it right there because I feel like I've been talking too much because now I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like, congratulations to my mom. Shout out to her wherever she is, whether she's up in the heavens or she's still roaming this earth or what have her, or whatever the case may be. I appreciate everything that you did. You're a vessel for me to roam this earth and, you know, look around, peep around, see what's going on, and this, then the third, build up my agility to get through this denseness. You feel me? Like I'm very appreciative of that. And too often we are so caught up in the thought like, oh, they did us dirty, they did us wrong, they did us that, da, 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 da. Sometimes people got to make space too. Like, you're not the only one out here trying to make space in your life. You feel me? It's either we gotta make space. Whatever, how much capacity of space we actually have, we gotta make space for the things or whatever the case may be. And sometimes you just gotta get pushed to the side. You know, yeah, you the offsprings and stuff like that. But look at animals. Excuse me. Look at animals. Like, some animals, some stay on the east, some stay on the west. They don't know who their mother is or whatever the case may be, and they keep it pushing. They keep it pushing. You feel me? So that's my story on how I feel about my mother wound at this moment in my life. I have to find my thoughts. I don't know. I thought I had them in this book, but I have more thoughts on what the mother wound, why, what, when, where, you know what I mean? Why we went through what we went through. But I know one of my most major findings is that my father didn't like my mother, and I know that made her uncomfortable because I even cried about it. Like, I think this was like early 2024. Like, there's a lot of our mothers out here crying that, you know, their first child, they discarded, they pushed away, and they, you know, that child doesn't want nothing to do with them and stuff like that. But it's very important that you heal your heart so that God can mend whatever needs to be mending. You know, sometimes God doesn't want us in certain environments because our heart is not ready to handle that environment the way he needs it to be purposely filled. So he is working on each one of us separately so that things can be reconnected and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So be hopeful, be the way you're supposed to be, because you never know. If you are without children, that connection could probably be the key to unlock what needs to be unlocked so that you can start popping out babies, so that you can have, so your children can actually have grandparents. You know, some of us never met our grandparents and stuff like that, and I think grandparents are the coolest thing on earth. I didn't have a great bunch of them, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not dwelling on that. I'm just dwelling on the happiness that I can continue exuding no matter what situation I'm in, because nobody's going to ever take this happiness away from me. So peace for now. Talk to y'all later. Peace.